Hi there, thanks for joining us today. The last session we had a look at a range of resources around using behavioural supports to support our learners in class. So today we're going to be focusing on creating some of those supports. So I'm going to show you a variety of ways that we can do this while focusing on some of the key skills for editing within Boardmaker 7. So the very first thing that I want to do today is to show you how to create an activity from scratch. So here I have open the Boardmaker 7 editor, and this is where we're going to create our activities. And you can see when I open up the editor, it's going to show me some of my most recent activities. I can go onto my Boardmaker, which will show me all of the activities that I've created. I can search for those, I can have a look through my folders, but we're going to concentrate on creating something new. So I'm going to click on this new button here, and this is going to open up the template picker. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but first I'm going to show you how to create something from blank. So I'm going to select blank. Here I'm going to go for a printed landscape option, hit create, and now you'll see that I've got my editor open. So let's say, for example, that we're using a visual timetable in class, and we just want to create some more symbols to go on that visual timetable. So it might be that we've got some new activities that we want to bring in, or we just want to replace some of our symbols. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a button. So I'm going to use this button tool up here, and then I'm going to come onto my page and just click and drag until I've created a button. And I want to create multiple buttons. So I'm going to actually spray these out into a grid. So I'm going to use the spray tool, bring my cursor to the centre of that button, and then just click and drag until I've got as many symbols that I want. I'm just going to go for 4, but I would like to make these bigger. So I'm just going to use the little corners in the bottom to click and drag and move these until I've got them where I want them. So now I need to fill these in. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just select the one that I want to fill in first. Just type the vocabulary that I want and then press enter. So now it's going to show me my symbol finder. So there's a couple of things here to note. So first, it will show you your results down here. And there's a couple of filters, so I can do things like if I was searching for something different. So let me just do an example of go. You can see here that I've got almost 1,000 results. So I can do things like search for the whole word, or maybe something that ends with go. I can even do things like something that sounds like go, or let's say I just wanted to have black and white symbols. I can come here and filter to black and white symbols only. So let's just go back to this maths example. I'm just going to go for this symbol, and then I'm going to press select. Now next one, let's do circle time. So let's say this time actually instead of a symbol I wanted to maybe use a photograph of circle time happening in our classroom. So up here what I can do is I can select my media. What this will do is I can do 2 things here. I can click from file. I can actually just bring in a photo directly from my computer that I might already have saved. But let's say I actually am maybe going to be using this picture again, and I want to have easy access to it. And maybe actually I want to be able to access it from another computer. What I can actually do is upload my media straight into Boardmaker. So if I click on the Add Media button, so it's going to open up the My Boardmaker website, and I'm logged in here. And I'm going to click on My Boardmaker, and then I'm going to come to where it says My Media. And you can see here I've got other media that I've uploaded, but I want to upload a new one. So I'm going to select Choose Files here. And I'm going to go Pictures. I'm going to find my circle time picture here. And then I'm going to upload that. I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call this circle time. And then I'm going to select upload. And then now that's successfully uploaded. Now if I come back into my editor and I search for circle time again, go to my media, you'll see that that's now an option. And that will bring that in for me. And then finally, let's go for snack. I can actually choose just to do an integrated web search. So if I click on the web button here, I can just find something from an image search and bring that in directly. So let's just do one more, just so that I've got mine filled in. I'll use a symbol this time. Okay, so now I've got my images in place. I just want to do a little bit of formatting. So if I highlight these buttons here, I can come over to the properties panel on the right hand side, and you can see there's a bunch of different things that I can do here. So for example, I'm going to change the font. We use Comic Sans in my school. I'm going to make that font a bit bigger so that we can see the words a bit more. I might want to put a background fill on, so let's go for this one. And then now I want to print these off and get them laminated so we can use them on our timetable. So to do this, I'm going to create a PDF, and it's going to prompt me here to save this. So I'm just going to save these. It's then going to open up into a PDF. If I hit on create, it's going to ask me to name that. I'll call it that. That's fine. And now I've got this PDF that I can go ahead and print off and ready to use in my classroom. So next I want to show you how we can create some of these supports using templates. So again, I'm going to click on the new button, and this time we're going to use this template picker. So on the left hand side, you'll see that there are a couple of options. So first we're going to have a look at printable templates. And here you'll see that there's a bunch of different categories, and there's actually a category for behaviour support. So I just want to show you a couple in here. Let's have a look at this first and then to begin with. You'll notice in some of these templates that they'll have a little S in them. This means that there's a sample of this activity available. So if I select one and then click on select from sample, what that's going to do is it's actually going to open up a sample of this activity. So here I can see I've got that first and then frame, and then underneath I've got the symbols and the labels that I want to maybe use in my first and then. So what I can actually do here is that I can maybe just come and create some of my own. So I'm going to just highlight these buttons. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to use this clear contents button here. And then now I can come in and create some of my own. So it might be first circle time. And then we might have, I don't know, some other options. iPad, snack, and then maybe speech therapy. Now let's say I want to have more than 4 options, because I use this a lot. So I want to have all the different activities and options that we might have. So what I can do here is just above in my pages panel here, there's a little 3 dots above that page, and I can click on duplicate. And that's just going to give me a direct duplicate. And again, I can come in, highlight, right click, clear contents, and then I can go ahead and fill in some more examples. So that's an example, first example of a printed activity. I'm just going to come back and go back to new, and I'm going to show you a couple of other options. So let's say we want to work on a reward chart. So maybe my student really benefits from working towards a goal. It helps them keep on task. It helps them keep focused in class. So here I am going to come in. I'm going to select this one, hit create. And so here, the student will place what they're working towards then, and then every time they complete a task, they will put a token on. Once they've filled them all in, they will get their reward. So here I can come in again and put my rewards in here. So maybe it's the iPad, maybe it's a snack, or maybe we can go out on the playground. Let's choose this one. There's a couple of other things that I can do. So I might actually want to maybe change what some of these tokens are. So here we've got coins, but let's say I want to change it to something that's maybe more rewarding for my child. So I can actually come in and let's say they really like cars. I can put a car in there. And maybe this can be their motivator, and I can change these maybe to some different things as well. So next, I want to talk about some interactive templates. So these are going to be templates that are going to be used maybe on an interactive whiteboard within the classroom, on a computer, an iPad, maybe even the student's communication device. And of course, these can be used with different access methods as well. So if you've got somebody that needs to use a switch or eye gaze, they will be able to access these as well. So again, I just want to show you a couple of templates that I think might be quite useful. So the first that I want to show you is under visual schedules. There are a bunch of different visual schedules here, and you'll see that we've got some that go horizontally, some that go vertically. So it's definitely worth thinking about what might kind of suit your student best. I'm going to go for a horizontal, and I'm going to select this fill in with finished. So I'm going to create this. Let me just close this so it's a bit bigger. So first thing you'll notice on an interactive template is that there'll be some little bits of red writing on that template, and these are just your instructions as to how to fill out that template. So for example, it says here, don't place anything in here. This is where the students will drag in their options. And then here it says place the different items or tasks below for your students to drag in. So here I'm just going to put in some of the different items that we need. So let's say speech therapy, circle time, oops, and let's do lunch. Okay, and so of course I can continue to fill some of those in, and then I'm going to show you what this looks like. So if I hit play here, you'll see that what I can do is I can select the items to put on our to-do list. So we've just got 3 here, so I'm going to put these in there. And then what we'll do is as the student completes those tasks, we're going to encourage them to come and select them and place them into the finished. And they will disappear. And that circle time is finished. And now lunchtime is finished. So again, a great visual to use, and because it's interactive, it gives a little bit more flexibility of how you can create it and use it. So another one I want to show you, we're going to go into interactive again, and again we're going to go into visual schedules, and there's one here that is steps that includes time. So I'm just going to select this. Hit create, and here what we can do is we can set out schedule via time, including the kind of different activities that our student has to do. So here I'm just going to select a clock so that we can see, and then let's say circle time. Oops. Circle time at 9 o'clock. 10 past 9, let's say we have a snack. Then 10 o'clock, we have speech therapy. And this will really help with those students that need to understand what's coming next, and maybe need to know times, and to keep them on track. So again, I'm just going to show you what this looks like in play mode. So I've just got these 3 steps at the moment, but at 9 o'clock,
9 o'clock,
we're going to have circle time.
Circle time.
And then once that's done, I can click on that. Then
9:10,
10 past 9 is going to be
snack.
Once that's done, and so on and so forth. So again, a really nice template to use. The last one that I want to show you is kind of having a look at some different templates and trying to think outside of the box a little bit. So I'm going to come into new and interactive, and this is where it's really worth kind of having a really good browse through these different templates and seeing if you can think of different ways that some of these can support your students. So I'm going to go into this classroom routines one, and we've got some that are around supporting attendance. So the idea here is that as students come in, and they can select their name, and then that's how they check into class. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these and change it slightly to maybe provide a behavioural support. So I'm going to select this one and hit create. And this time, instead of having, let's say, people's names, so here it would have, Alice, Charlotte, Debbie, and as those people came in, they would check themselves in. I'm actually going to create a to-do list. So we're going to do, again, the same activities, circle time, snack, let's do wash hands, and so on. And now if I go into play, we will have a nice to-do list that as we go through, our students can select.
Circle is here.
Now, as you'll notice, this was preset with some activities, activity settings, sorry, so that when these selected, it would say the name of the student and then they are here, because that was the purpose of the activity. So I'm going to show you how to change some of those activities settings to suit the needs of your newly adapted activity. So I'm just going to come out of play mode and I'm going to come into activity settings up here at the top. Select activity settings, and then here you'll see that it's got a bunch of settings that were set for this activity specifically. So here it says that there was some feedback for when the students were here, and so it says the text is spoken when a student's name is checked. So now instead of a student's name, we've got an activity. So I might want to change this to, instead of so and so is here, I might want to do snack is finished, or maybe not finished. So I'm just going to try this so I can show you what that looks like. So now we'll go to
circle time. Circle is finished. Wash is finished. Snack is finished.
So now we've got a nice interactive to-do list that again can support some of our students. So the last thing that I want to do is just talk a little bit about how we can access some of those activities. So as you saw within the editor, we could just play those activities directly from the editor. So I can just hover over my activity here and hit on play. And then now I can access that activity. So great if I'm using it directly from a computer or maybe projecting it onto my interactive whiteboard. But what if I want my students to use it on an iPad or their device, or maybe I even want them to access it from home? So this is where we're going to be using the Boardmaker Student Centre. So the Boardmaker Student Centre is free for anybody to download. And for the first time that you download it, or when you open it, everybody will have access to this activity centre, which is a bunch of free activities that anybody can access. But in order to access those personalised activities that you've created or that you want somebody else to access, we're going to have to use our login. So if we click on menu and we go to login, we can log in two different ways. So if it's a student that's maybe accessing their activities from home, they will use their student login, and we'll talk a little bit more about how to do this in the next session. But as an instructor, I am going to select here, and I'm just going to use my usual login details. Once I've logged in, I will be able to see the different activities that I've created, and I will be able to access them directly from there. I can actually download these activities so that I can even access these activities offline. So let's say that I want to take some of these behavioural supports on a school trip with us. I can download these onto my iPad and then use them as we are out and about. So as I mentioned, the next session we will talk a little bit more about how we can create student accounts and access and how our students can access activities remotely. So that's everything for today. Thank you for joining us, and see you at the next session.